Hi everyone, I wanted to record a quick video to show you what you can accomplish within 2 years modifying your front yard into a succulent and desert landscape. Back in June 2022, this is what my front yard looked like. You can see that I'm using flour to communicate to a couple of the workers that were helping me with bringing in some of the rock and some of the soil. And this is basically what it looked like in the front yard. It was dry dirt. With succulents and cactus, you can just put the dirt right over the top. So there's no digging involved or anything like that, but you do want to start with a weed-free environment. So I just simply took flour and went around and defined where the pathways were going to be, and was really just trying to figure out what this was eventually going to look like. And as we go through the video, you'll see the progress as we go through moving into the next area, where you can see where I literally was writing an S with flour on the floor, so that as they were bringing in the soil, as they were bringing in the rocks, just to follow the ring around, they had an idea of how I wanted this to go. It was just rough. Honestly, it was just to create big mounds and then put the rock around the outside of the mound, so that then that would give me a planting bed. I was looking at also how do I create pathways, what are logical pathways. So I did step back a little bit before I even started defining this, and just watched as we were walking through the yard what were the natural areas that we were using from a pathway perspective. I wanted to be able to also be able to go all the way around each one of the beds as much as possible. It makes it easier from a maintenance standpoint. And I also had that we were going to be bringing in a fence and putting in a brand new fence. Here again, we're just having the soil delivered and the rocks are starting to be delivered. I just got this at the local yard. It wasn't special soil or anything like that. I really didn't have to worry about it because, again, while I live in a semi-hostile climate for cactus and succulent, it's actually not that bad. We don't get too bad at rain, although we can, but again, that mounding is going to help with the drainage, and so I don't really have to amend the soil or do anything differently with it. Mainly it was just get it into place, get it into those mounds, and then just the fact that it was mounded up would cause the correct type of drainage, so that I didn't have to worry about rot at the bottom of the plants. So this is the walkway that I had put in. Again, I was just watching to see what are the natural pathways that we were using as we were moving around the yard, so that we would have natural places that we could come into the area, that the pathways were wide enough and made it easy for us to be able to move around within the environment. This is up closer towards the house. Again, it's just using the flour to define where I want the landscape to be. Here, I wanted to be able to sit in some chairs and be able to actually enjoy the yard. Right in front of where you see that bench, I plan to put a fountain, and you can see that in some of my videos where I actually have a rock, like a natural rock looking fountain that I can listen to when I sit outside and just enjoy the yard and talk to my neighbors as they're going by. This, again, it's just all being mounded. You can see where the S's are. That's where the soil was going to go. By July, I was starting to install the landscape. It was literally as simple as put the rocks around where you saw that original flower path, and then the mounding the soil all around that. This is before I've applied the top dressing, but it's also important to note how really, really small these plants were when I was putting them in. So when you see towards the end of the video how large these plants get within a very short amount of time, don't be worried if you're starting your landscape with just a small amount of plants. And don't be worried if it looks like, oh my gosh, there's not enough plants. They will expand, and they will expand rapidly. So don't be concerned about that. I remember when I first put this in thinking, oh, this is not going to look very good because these plants are so small. Little did I know what I was going to have 2 years later. So again, just be focused on putting the right type of plants towards the front that are on the shorter side, put the larger plants towards the back. But don't worry about it. If you make a mistake, if you put something in the back that's, you know, really short and you figure that out later, you can always move it. That's the thing about cacti and succulents, is they actually don't care if you move them around. So you will be able to do that. So don't overthink it. Don't be worried about it. Just put in your rocks, mound your soil as much as you possibly can. For most of these beds, I think the height was anywhere from 2 to 3 feet for some of the really big areas where I had the fountain going in, for example, to other areas where maybe it was about a foot or 18 inches or so at the highest point of the mound. So again, you can see I'm just putting the ring of rock around the outside just to help delineate where that pathway is going to be, and then I'm planting all of the plants within that. You can see how, again, it's super tiny. Those plants are not very big. I just, at this point, trying to get them spaced and thinking about later on what will this design look like. Again, more mounding. This particular part of the yard, the mound at the highest point is probably about 12 inches of soil. No digging. Again, you're just going to put the soil right over the top. I didn't change, I didn't even dig up the old plumbing for the sprinklers that used to be in place. I didn't do any of that. I just put the soil right over the top. I put the rocks around the outside edge and then started planting all of the little plants along this area. And again, most of these are cuttings at the time. They don't even have any of the roots or anything like that. I'm just sticking them in the ground. This is a little further back where you can see the walkway, again, coming up into the house. You can see now that I've got the fence area. The fence area is not really for any reason like security or anything like that. It's more, I have 2 dogs and I like to take them out front with me, and I want them to be able to run around without it being a problem. So later on, you can see in August, this is what it started to look like. Now I've applied 2 layers of top dressing. So the first, my base is going to be Cali Gold. Just put that down. That's going to be the walkway path everywhere. I wanted to have a little egress. You can see there at the bottom of the video, so that when you get out of your car, you're able to walk right towards the pathway without it interfering too much. I've also applied a lava rock on top. This is about a 3/4 inch lava rock to 1/2 inch. And this is just to add some dimension to the overall landscape and just help those plants pop out a little bit more. I like the gold and black combination. That's something that's particular to each person, what type of rock combination you like to use. I've seen people also use red lava rock. For me, I particularly like black lava rock just because of the sharp contrast with the gold. Again, this is just another one of the planting beds that's in the front of the house, and you can see that I've added that layer of rock in there, and then all of the plants, and again, they're super, super tiny. Most of these are cuttings. My mom and dad donated a couple plants that they had just sitting around their house. Some other items that I got from Facebook or I got from also next door. This is now February 2024. And this is what happens. So as you can see, it grows extremely fast. From those tiny, tiny, tiny little cuttings to this absolutely gorgeous landscape and yard. It's been amazing watching these plants grow. It's been amazing, all of the neighbors that I've met as a result of this, stopping by and asking me questions, because of course they watched this transformation really over a 2-year period. So they like to stop and ask me how I did it and ask me questions about plants and help them out with some of the things that they want to do in their yard. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this. I'd love to hear your comments and your experience with going from a lawn to a full cacti and succulent landscape. Have a great day.